Here is a long-form, retention-optimized YouTube script that follows your exact structure, tone, and niche. Word count is 700 plus, serious and curiosity driven, with delayed answers and cause and effect storytelling. How paper money replaced freedom without anyone resisting. At some point in history, freedom was quietly exchanged for paper. No armies marched, no revolutions erupted. No vote was held. And yet today nearly every decision you make, where you work, how long you work, what you can afford, and even where you're allowed to go, is shaped by pieces of paper issued by someone else. Here's the mystery. How did something that once represented freedom slowly become a system of control without resistance? And more importantly, why did almost no one notice it happening? To understand that, we need to go back. Not to banks, not to governments, but to a time when money didn't exist at all. Before paper money, wealth was tangible. Gold, silver, land, livestock, skills, these things had value because they were value. You could not print more cattle. You could not invent more gold with ink. Trade was slower, but freedom was direct. If you owned something, no authority could devalue it overnight. But there was a problem. Control. Kings, empires, and later governments all faced the same limitation. They could only spend what they physically had. Wars were expensive. Bureaucracies were growing. Power demanded more resources than reality allowed. That's when a simple idea appeared. What if money didn't have to be real as long as people believed it was? Paper money didn't begin as deception. It began as a receipt. Goldsmiths and early banks issued paper notes as proof that gold was stored safely elsewhere. The promise was simple. This paper equals real value. At first, it worked honestly. Then someone noticed something dangerous. Most people never came back for their gold. So banks began issuing more paper than gold they actually held. Nothing collapsed immediately. Life continued. Trust remained. And just like that, fractional banking was born, money created from nothing, backed by belief instead of substance. Freedom didn't disappear in one moment, it diluted. The real shift came when governments realized the power of paper. If banks could create money by issuing promises, what could a government do with legal authority, laws, and force? Wars accelerated the process. Paper money financed conflicts that real money never could. Taxes alone weren't enough, but printing solved that problem instantly. Paper money became legal tender. You were required to accept it. And suddenly, opting out wasn't an option. Gold was removed from circulation. Silver was sidelined. Eventually, paper money was no longer redeemable for anything real. Money stopped being a claim on value and became a command. Breaking point. The moment freedom quietly shifted, the breaking point didn't feel like a collapse. It felt like convenience. Paper was easier than coins. Credit was easier than saving. Debt was easier than discipline. But with each step, control centralized. When money became printable, governments gained a new weapon. Inflation, a silent tax that requires no permission. Your savings lost value without being taken. Your labor produced less purchasing power each year, and your future became dependent on systems you didn't control. No resistance occurred because nothing was taken directly. It was simply diluted fallout. A world trapped in numbers today. Paper money isn't even paper anymore. It's digital entries on screens. Numbers that can be frozen, taxed, inflated, or erased. Entire nations live under permanent debt. Debt that can never realistically be repaid because the only money to repay it is created as debt itself. People work harder than ever, yet feel poorer. Governments print trillions, yet claim scarcity. Freedom wasn't removed by force. It was replaced with dependence. Failed fixes. Why every solution makes it worse. Every attempted fix repeats the same mistake. More printing to fix inflation. More debt to fix recession. More control to fix instability. Each solution requires less individual freedom and more centralized authority. And because the system depends on belief, questioning it becomes dangerous. Not illegal, just discouraged. Modern parallels, the pattern repeating faster than ever. Look around. Currencies are losing value globally. Cash is being phased out. Digital control systems are expanding. The same pattern repeats. Crisis emergency solution, permanent loss of choice paper. Money didn't just replace gold. It replaced self-sovereignty. Money is not neutral. Whoever controls its creation controls society. Freedom is rarely taken by force. It's traded for comfort and convenience. Systems collapse not when people resist, but when belief breaks. The real question isn't whether paper money failed, it's whether you noticed the cost. Because once freedom is replaced with promises, the hardest thing to regain is awareness. If you want to understand how money shapes power, history, and control, subscribe. Because the most dangerous systems aren't enforced with weapons. They're enforced with belief. And belief, once questioned, changes everything.